So I know I said that I wasn't going to do any more videos on surprise forcing moves, at least for a while, but I stumbled upon this when I was doing a tactics problem today. And actually this was one of the tactics problems I did today, and I thought it was interesting. So I thought I might as well share it with you guys, and because I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool in part because I solved it fairly easily, and I don't think I would have solved this problem easily, or at all, maybe a month ago, using the previous method, which was basically just stare at the board until I saw it. So, if you want to try to solve it, just pause the video. It's White to Move and Win. And I'm going to, in a few seconds, tell you the way I solved it and my method. Okay, so the first step, of course, is to identify material count, I guess. And here we can see immediately that it's equal. Both sides have equal material. Next, we identify targets. So this square, this square, this square, this square, this file, and this file are obviously targets. Not so obvious though. I mean, it's obvious, but you should keep in track that this is a target and this is a target. Any unprotected piece is always subject to tactics and is always a target. There might be some skewer or something, and you might be able to win the piece. Okay, let me get rid of all this crap for you guys, because that might be distracting. Okay, so now a few moves. Now I have to identify forcing moves. The first forcing move, I'm sure you guys saw immediately. This move looks incredibly forcing, and is obviously we have to think about. This move we have to think about. This move we have to think about. This move is forcing because I'm threatening mate. Likewise, this move is forcing because I'm threatening to rook takes and mate. And there's two other forcing moves that I see, but you can eliminate them right away, because this was one, but after queen takes, there's nothing. And similarly, queen over here, after bishop takes, there's nothing. You can see that you don't. So it's like you did the analysis already, because it's so easy. Okay. So now we have to go through them in order of forcing. So the most forcing move is obviously rook takes, because it's a mate. Right, unless if black doesn't do anything, he's mated, so he's got to respond. So black has to recapture with his rook, and now here white has two options. He can plop his queen down on g2 and check, and that is, let me highlight that because there's no coordinates. Actually, not g2, b7. Sorry, guys. b7, or he can recapture here on c4 and c5. Okay, well, let's go through these. So if I recapture here on c5, then king takes, and then I don't even have a viable check anymore. I'm down a rook. I can check with my bishop. Actually, the only viable move there is queen f6, because I'm threatening mate and I'm threatening a piece. So I'm still, I still have to think about that. But then after rook, a move like rook g6, black is okay. So let's eliminate this move. So after rook takes, after rook takes, queen check now is the next move we have to look at. After queen takes, the only move left is to recapture with our rook. King takes, and we have only a bishop left. That's not good. So we have just eliminated this move. Okay, let's see. We should look at this move this move, because that's a mate. Actually, it's not a mate, but it's a mate in 2, I guess, because there's this move afterwards. Okay, so if queen goes to g2, then queen takes, and the only forcing move we have left is rook takes c5, and then that just transposes to a variation we already calculated. So that's good. We don't have to calculate that. All right, cool. Now, the next most forcing move is this move. Queen here. And there's a few responses that black has, but I'm going to choose the response that I feel is the strongest, because I want to try to refute myself as quickly as possible. Because if I can refute myself, I can save myself a lot of work. There's no point in looking at king takes first, because that's not, obviously that doesn't look like black's strongest move. So, alright, so queen c6, rook takes, and the only forcing move that I can see that's left is a move like rook takes c5, rook takes, king takes, and we're out of pieces. Okay. So now I want to look at, these moves are equally forcing, I think. Queen here and bishop here both threaten mate. But, actually no, I take that back. Bishop is more forcing because it threatens mate in 1 and the queen threatens mate in... Actually no, they both threaten mate 1, so they're equally forcing. But I looked at bishop f2 first. So let's look at bishop f2. After bishop f2, black has two responses. Okay, let's look at... they look... I think that each response looks equally strong to me, so I'm just going to have to calculate randomly one first. So after rook takes, then I have two more forcing moves left. I can do rook takes here or queen check, much like before. But the position is different, so it's not... We haven't done the calculations yet, because the rook is on f2 and not f1. So let's see which one we look at first. Okay, let's look at rook takes first. So bishop f2, c7, rook takes c5, rook takes, or queen check. Let's look at rook takes first. Rook takes, king takes, and nothing's happening. So that doesn't work. Rook f2, rook takes c5, rook takes, queen check, queen takes, rook takes, king takes, same thing. Okay, that doesn't eliminate the whole variation, that just only eliminates after bishop f2, rook takes c5 is wrong. But let's look now at this check. Okay. Bishop f2, bishop c7, so I keep saying f2, sorry. Bishop c7, rook takes, queen check. Only viable move here is to take, because if you do king takes here, then we have checkmate immediately. Oops. So rook takes, and then after rook takes c5, it's mate. Alright, that's a good sign. Let's look at... So now, obviously, after bishop c7, rook takes is wrong. So now we have to think of the next line. Well, black's only other option here, or, you know... Alright, it's not really his only other option, but... Alright, he also has... Let's go through the options. Bishop c7, queen takes now we have to look at. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's look at this in the same order. After rook takes, the only move is queen takes. Now we have rook takes or queen check, and let's look at queen check. Queen check, if queen goes to b6, queen takes is mate. So king has to take on a5, and then rook a1 is mate. Okay, so it looks like that this bishop is untakeable. Okay, so bishop c7 looks pretty promising. Now let's see if we can find any other responses besides taking that prevent mate. Well, let's see, he can play queen c6 maybe. Queen c6. But, in that position, where I don't even have to calculate, I'm sure that there's really a very strong variation, but I immediately see that I can at least win a pawn here just by doing rook takes, queen takes, rook takes, king takes. And I'm pretty positive that I win significantly more than a pawn if I stop to think about it. So queen c6 doesn't look threatening to me. There's no way that queen c6 is going to be the breaking move of this variation. And besides that, we look like we're in good shape, so this move is winning. Notice that I don't even have to calculate this move. I'm just going to eliminate it, and this is the winning move. I'm gonna show you the variations now, because I know I did it all vocally. So let's see. Let's look at this variation. So we said that here, this move. This is checkmate. And this variation now. Here we look at this. Oops. And that's mate. And so yeah, I mean, if we really want to, we can do a more in-depth analysis of this move. Let me think for a second. Okay, yeah, alright, there's a mate here. I just missed it the first time around, because I didn't really consider it very long, but now this move. And queen b6 is forced, and this mate too. But so yeah, so notice that I didn't have to consider queen here. And you know, this bishop c7 move doesn't look so obvious, right? But if you use this method, it's not so hard to find.